Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the CoreCast channel so you don't miss any future deep dives. Today, we're going to be diving into the world of AI,
Okay.
specifically the growing competition between the U.S. and China. And, our awesome listeners have sent in some really interesting articles that kind of paint a picture of a possible global power shift
Wow.
driven by AI. So
Yeah.
this should be interesting.
Definitely. This is a hot topic right now. It's not just about, who's got the best algorithms anymore. It's about who can build the infrastructure
Right.
to support these massive AI systems. We're talking data centers, energy grids,
Yeah, the whole nine yards.
the whole nine yards. Yeah.
And that's where Project Stargate comes in, right? This initiative from OpenAI. It just sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. I mean, they're aiming to build an AI infrastructure here in the U.S. with a budget of $500 billion.
I know. It's crazy.
That's insane.
It's an absolutely insane amount of money.
It's more than the GDP of many countries. It's on par with, like, the entire NASA budget for the last decade.
Yeah, and it really shows you the scale of ambition here. OpenAI's managed to get some serious backing, too. SoftBank, Oracle, even MGX, which is an investment fund from the UAE. And get this, even former President Donald Trump's voiced support for the project.
Wow, so it's getting attention from both sides.
Yeah, definitely.
It seems like OpenAI is really leaning into this narrative of American leadership in AI, though.
For sure.
Like, even their name, OpenAI, seems ironic considering their move toward closed access lately.
Yeah, it is kind of funny when you think about it like that. It seems they're betting big on the success of their upcoming language model, ChatGPT-5. That's where a lot of this funding hinges, it seems. It's a risky move, but it's worked for them before. Just, the stakes are much higher now.
Way higher.
Oh.
So what exactly is Project Stargate hoping to accomplish? I mean, what will this insane amount of money actually go towards?
Well, the plan is to build a network of data centers across the U.S. They want these centers to be able to handle the massive computational power needed for training and running these advanced AI models.
So they're really trying to create a centralized hub for AI development here in the U.S. And this brings us to that idea of a new Manhattan Project for AI.
Right.
Is that a fair comparison, you think?
I think the articles you shared definitely draw that parallel.
Yeah.
The original Manhattan Project, that was this enormous undertaking to build the atomic bomb during World War II. And it seems like there's that same level of urgency, that same massive investment, but now it's in the field of AI.
So it's not just OpenAI either, right? Like all these other tech giants, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Google, they're all pouring billions into AI.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's like a modern-day gold rush.
Yeah.
Except the
right.
gold is data and algorithms.
That's a perfect analogy. It really highlights how competitive all this is. And the USCC, that's the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission, they put out a report warning about China's rapid progress in AI. They basically said the U.S. needs to step up its game, and these companies, they seem to be listening.
Wow. So all this investment in AI, it's going to come at a cost, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Training these models takes a ton of energy. One article even mentioned we might have to double the U.S. electrical grid capacity to keep up with demand.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. AI is incredibly energy intensive. Just think, a simple Google search uses a teeny tiny fraction of the energy needed to generate, say, an AI-powered video or a complex image.
It's mind-boggling how much power all this takes.
Yeah.
So while the U.S. is racing ahead with all this investment, there's this concern about our infrastructure. Can it actually handle this? And even then, there's the potential of having to rely on fossil fuels, coal, natural gas, just to meet demand.
It's a tough balancing act, for sure. It's like, how do we push the limits of AI, keep innovating, but also do it sustainably and manage resources responsibly?
Exactly. It's a tough question. And speaking of innovation, we got to talk about another big player in this AI race, China.
Yeah.
Specifically, their new AI model, DeepSeek R1. It's causing a stir because it's getting amazing results, but using way less computing power than what we see here in the U.S.
Yeah, DeepSeek is a game changer. It really challenges that idea that you need massive computing power and resources for AI breakthroughs. It's really impressive what they've been able to do. Like, they're focusing on efficiency and innovation, finding these clever ways to get comparable results, but without needing that brute force computing power.
And on top of that, they've made the code for DeepSeek R1 open source.
Right.
Which is like the opposite of what OpenAI is doing with their closed access. So what do you think is going on there? What's the strategy behind that?
Well, if you look at it strategically, it's actually a really smart move. I mean, by making their AI model open source, China's basically inviting everyone, the entire global AI community, to collaborate. They can build on the work, even contribute to its development.
So instead of trying to keep it all for themselves, they're encouraging a much more open and collaborative approach. It's a very different philosophy from what we see in the U.S.
No, yeah, it's definitely different. And people in Silicon Valley are definitely taking notice.
Yeah.
Because, the U.S. has traditionally been the leader in tech. But China's catching up fast, and in some areas, they're already ahead.
That's what was so striking in one of the articles. It talked about how DeepSeek actually caused a bit of a panic on Wall Street. Like when it was first announced, companies like NVIDIA, who make those high-powered chips used for AI, their stock prices actually dipped.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a clear sign that China's innovation is changing things, changing that whole story of U.S. dominance in tech. It challenges the assumption that just spending a ton of money is the only way to win the AI race.
So it's like we have these two very different approaches developing. The U.S. going for these huge centralized AI infrastructures, while China's focusing on efficiency, collaboration, and open access.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And both approaches have their pluses and minuses, of course. The U.S. model, it allows for really fast scaling and development, but it requires a ton of resources. And it could end up concentrating power in the hands of just a few big corporations.
And then on the other side, China's open source approach, that could lead to a more collaborative and globally diverse AI ecosystem. But it also raises concerns about misuse of the tech, even the spread of misinformation.
Definitely. It's a really complex situation. And honestly, it's hard to say which approach will be more successful in the long run. But what is clear is that the future of AI is going to be shaped by both competition and collaboration.
Right.
By that drive for power, but also that search for clever solutions.
It feels like we're witnessing a major shift in global power.
Yeah.
And AI is right at the center of it all. It's exciting, but also kind of scary at the same time.
It definitely is. And it's super important that we have these open discussions about what it all means, the implications of this technology. It's not just about the algorithms and the hardware. It's about how we as a society choose to develop and use AI.
It's a bigger conversation than just the tech itself.
Exactly. AI has the potential to change so many things, from healthcare to transportation, education, entertainment, you name it. But with that potential comes some really big questions about ethics, job displacement, and, the possibility of misuse. Yeah, those are really important questions.
We got to be thinking about these things right now as we build the foundation for this AI-powered future.
Yeah.
How do we make sure AI is developed and used responsibly? How do we limit the risks while also making the most of the benefits?
Those are the big questions. And they go beyond just the technical side of things. They touch on our values as a society.
Certainly.
Like, we need to be honest with ourselves about how AI could impact our lives, our communities, our world. We can't just leave these decisions to a handful of tech companies or government agencies.
This isn't something we can just ignore and hope it sorts itself out.
No, not at all. It's up to all of us to be part of this conversation, to help steer AI in a direction that benefits everyone.
So it's not just about who wins the AI race, but about what kind of world we want to create with this technology.
Absolutely. Well said.
Now, I want to ask our listeners something. Think about a world where AI is as common as smartphones are today.
Oh.
What parts of your life would you want to see improved by AI? And what are your biggest worries about its potential impact? It's wild to think about all this. We've got Project Stargate, this massive U.S. push to build up their AI infrastructure. And then China with DeepSeek R1 taking this totally different approach and getting some pretty amazing results. It feels like we're at a turning point. Like the choices we make right now will have a huge impact on AI's future and how it fits into society.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a make or break moment. The decisions we're making now, they're going to decide whether AI ends up being a force for good, helping us make progress, driving innovation, or if it just makes things worse, makes inequality worse, leads to all sorts of problems we didn't see coming.
That's what's kind of scary about it, right? One of the articles talked about how AI could automate millions of jobs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is a huge worry for a lot of people. But it also mentioned how AI could create whole new industries and jobs we can't even imagine right now.
It's true. And, it's important to remember that whenever we've had big leaps in technology, the job market changes. Look at the Industrial Revolution. It forced tons of farm workers out of their jobs, but it also created a whole new world of manufacturing jobs.
So it's not necessarily all doom and gloom.
Right, exactly. The key is to adapt, to be ready for those changes that AI is going to bring.
So how do we get ready for this AI-powered future? What kind of skills do we need to focus on? And how do we make sure that everyone, not just a select few, gets to benefit from all this?
Well, education is going to be the most important thing.
Makes sense.
We got to give people the tools they need to succeed in a world driven by AI. So we're talking critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, adaptability, all those things.
So not just tech skills then.
Right. Not just tech skills. We also need to work on emotional intelligence, collaboration, and understanding the ethics of AI, you know?
So thinking about the bigger picture, not just the nuts and bolts.
Exactly. AI is a powerful tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. We got to make sure it's developed and used in a way that matches our values, in a way that benefits everyone.
So like we're all responsible for making sure AI is used for good.
Absolutely.
The future of AI isn't set in stone.
Nope.
It's something we're all shaping with the choices we make today.
I like that. It's not about predicting the future. It's about creating the future we want.
That's a great way to put it. Well, that was our deep dive into the wild world of AI. We cover the competition between the U.S. and China, the potential for an economic boom, the energy challenges that come with it, and the ethical questions we need to be asking. AI is definitely going to change our lives in a big way. But how it changes things, that's up to us. It depends on the choices we make as individuals, as a society, as a global community.
And those choices, they're happening right now. It's up to all of us to be informed and engaged.
So what do you think? Where do you stand on this balance between throwing tons of money at AI and finding creative solutions? Could China's DeepSeek be a game changer? Or will the U.S. stay ahead just by outspending everyone? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the CoreCast channel so you don't miss any of our future deep dives.